All right. Thanks, everyone, for waiting. We just waited for a few more people to pile in there, but it looks like we got some good attendance. So I'd just like to thank you again for taking time out of your day to join us for our webinar today about growing your revenue with artificial intelligence. And it's going to be presented by myself, Brad Penwarden. A lot of you on the call I've worked with before, so thanks for joining, and nice to see your names again. Hopefully we'll talk soon. Today I'm joined by my colleague, James Aziz. And so we're going to walk you through a little bit of some use cases and what's going on with AI with some of our clients. So again, here's our handsome faces if you haven't seen us before. So yeah, that's me on the left, Brad Penwarden. So I'm the Director of Products here at Munvo, and I've been with us for almost 10 years now. And I'm joined by James as well. So he's our senior consultant, and he'll be walking through the webinar today and talking through some of the use cases and what's going on in the world of AI today. To those of us who don't know Munvo or haven't worked with us before or have met us, well, thanks for joining and thanks for your time and nice to meet you. And a little bit about what Munvo is and who we are. So in a nutshell, we're a marketing solution system integrator. And we primarily work with Adobe, SaaS, and Unica products. And as well, we build a number of in-house products that are meant to augment and complement those marketing automation tools. So we've been around for actually 15 years now. And we've delivered hundreds of solutions projects. And we work a lot with, we have 85 consultants and over 40 plus recurring enterprise consultants, or customers, I should say. But today, we're really here to talk about AI and some of the use cases that we've seen and how clients are using it today. And I'm going to pass the baton over to James, and he can talk a bit about what's going on. And if you have any questions at the end, we'll have a Q&A, and you can put your questions in the chat, and we'll address those at the end. Thanks.
Thank you, Brett. Hey, everyone, I'm James, and I'm happy that you were able to join us today for this talk on AI. I'm just going to, I think, to start off, to clear up or try to clear up a bit of what AI is. And I know, I'm sure you've heard a lot on the news and elsewhere about AI and all the different terms and capabilities. Really wanted to start it off by defining what AI is. And there's a reason why we hear about it all the time in so many contexts, and that's because it encompasses everything from computer vision to robotics to chatbots to autonomous cars. But today I really want to focus on, what differentiates artificial intelligence from analytics and machine learning, et cetera. So what is AI? It's got that umbrella term, like I said, and it encompasses machine learning. Machine learning is sort of the tools and methodologies that enable us to leverage AI to generate predictive business insights. So we start with sort of this AI picture at the top end, and then we work our way down to some of the more granular details, all the way down to the technologies that enable it at the bottom. So take away, AI is this overarching umbrella term that covers everything, and we're going to focus today on how you can leverage AI for business value in your organizations. So why AI, and what are the key differentiators of AI over other conventional analytics? Well, first, we start with data volume. And the performance of algorithms or standard conventional analytics tends to plateau when your data increases. So as you, as an organization, grow and over time build your data repositories, you can leverage them to a certain extent, but it plateaus with conventional analytics. With AI or deep learning, that learning process and that business value continues to increase with time. So you get better, more accurate models, and thus more predictive and valuable insights. Secondly, input flexibility. So unlike conventional analytics, AI requires far less pre-processing or cleaning of data. And what that means is you have a lot more flexibility in terms of the data you're giving it. It can tolerate and fill in missing or invalid or incorrect data and still generate very, very accurate results. So what does this mean? Far less overhead in terms of data preparation and a much quicker time to market for you. And finally, optimal model selection. One of the critical questions with any analytics problem or platform is which algorithm do I pick for that particular task or job? And that's more of an art than a science, but it's critical to fully leveraging your capabilities. With AI, you can very quickly iterate through a variety of different models and pick the best one for your use case. And I'll touch on this a bit more detail a little further in the presentation, but just to give you an idea, we can process millions of records and pick the best model across 4 of them, for example, for any given work case in under about 2 minutes. So there's that very quick iterative process, and again, helps you deliver the best insights in the quickest time to market. So how do you unlock the value of AI in your businesses and in your organizations? Harvard Business Review did a bit of a study last year, and they came to the conclusion that about 2/3 of the opportunities to leverage AI are improving performance over conventional analytics. So the same use cases, AI can provide considerable value over conventional analytics. And what does this mean fundamentally? Well, you don't need to make wholesale changes to your entire MarTech stack to see the value of AI. You can see a lot of it just by infusing your analytics processes with the latest AI technologies. So what does this mean? Well, quick implementations, apples to apples comparisons of accuracy and KPIs, and a very fast return on investment. And this is by far the most common application we see across our clients, leveraging AI to sort of upgrade conventional analytics meaningfully. And the key takeaway is that AI is very accessible and can drive a lot of value for your organization seamlessly and very quickly. So let's stick around at this high-level 10,000-foot view for another moment here. If we look across the industry, where do we see the greatest impact of AI? And not surprisingly, that's in marketing, another result of that Harvard Business Review study last year. What would the total amount to? It's about $1.4 to $2.6 trillion is where they put it at, in anticipated value unlocked by AI in marketing and sales. And if you were to break that number down into the 3 key parameters or 3 key aspects of marketing and sales where you can see the greatest value for AI, they would be customer interaction, personalization, things like next best action, and offer management, things like segmentation and offer parameters. Those are the key opportunities that we see in marketing and AI, and that 1.4, 2.6 trillion is really a transformational number, and it really goes to show how much value is unlocked by AI in this space. So if we take a closer look at which verticals are well positioned to reap the benefits of artificial intelligence, we'll see a lot represented here. And keep in mind, we're also looking at the incremental value here of AI over conventional analytics. Critically is our perspective. Banking and investment is a big one. Insurance, retail, another one that comes up often for pricing offers and the like. Health and pharma, telco, high-tech manufacturing, and the travel and entertainment industry as well is one that we see a tremendous growth in terms of AI for analytics use cases, and this is the one we're actually going to highlight here today in a bit. So give you an idea, there's a lot of value from an AI perspective. These are sort of the top ones, but as you can see, many industries and verticals are well represented. So in terms of the maturity path for an AI sort of organization, what we've seen with our clients, we try to boil it down here to 3 critical phases in terms of a broader path toward full AI maturity. And there's tremendous incremental value in infusing AI at every stage of this process, but I would still want to give you an idea of the use cases and for each phase. So we start with data mining. Data mining is typically the entry level for AI in many organizations, and that's what we've seen at Munvo as well. 3 example key use cases: customer churn, one we see quite often. Lead scoring uplift modeling is another great one for data mining. And propensity modeling, by far the most popular, predicting what a customer will do in a given time frame. And that all happens at the data stage. So it's very easy to implement, and you can often see a very quick return on investment by infusing your data mining with AI. Second phase, marketing execution. This is where suddenly you're using AI to affect the decisioning as part of your marketing execution tools and capabilities. Use cases include individualized offer selection, channel optimization, customer fatigue minimization, and along the same lines as channel optimization and customer fatigue, offer timing and delivery as well. Really just making sure that when you're sending out your offers, when you're doing your marketing execution, AI is part of that process to optimize the experience for your customers. And phase three, sort of the holy grail of AI in marketing, real-time insights. And here again, we see one of the use cases being offer content personalization. This is in real time, of course, so you're presenting something to your clients as a sort of a next best action. And that's where we see tremendous value in terms of sort of the ultimate goal of AI, where it's part of your marketing in such a way that it happens instantaneously and you can decision and decide what's best for each of your customers at any point in time. So from a high perspective, that's the maturity path that we've seen across our clients for AI, and hopefully gives you an idea of sort of how to grow AI in your business. So if we look across many current existing analytics platforms across the industry, often we see in terms of marketing stack, an analytics platform that generates about 200 or so propensity models. That's the most common thing we've seen. Generating propensities for everything from what a customer is likely to do in the next month to how likely they are to leave the organization, any number of parameters and numbers. The goal, of course, is to leverage this data and create the most accurate data possible. And to that end, we've seen some challenges with our clients, and I'm going to touch on a few of them today and highlight the most significant ones that we've seen. First, out-of-date models. Much of the value that predictive analytics drives is from the ability to be constantly responding to changing market forces and customer tastes and leveraging the new reams of data that are continuously being collected. Without that ongoing learning process, models stagnate and become stale to the point where they no longer offer business value. So outdated and by extension, inaccurate models are one of the key challenges we see across our clients and something that AI very, very readily solves. Secondly, vendor lock-in. With many existing conventional analytics platforms, they tend to be proprietary solutions, and it tends to be difficult to, at end of life, either upgrade or migrate to another platform. And rebuilding those models in a new platform, even partially, comes at significant expense, especially if you can't translate them out at the end of life of that platform. So with AI, much of this is solved given how the AI compute and the frameworks and the software platforms are designed. You have tremendous flexibility to move between vendors, and you avoid most of the vendor lock-in issues that conventional analytics platforms suffer from. And finally, I think the biggest one of all is untapped data. The key differentiator, again, between conventional analytics and AI is that data infrastructure. Fundamentally, what does that mean? Well, AI is designed to handle orders of magnitude more data. The analytics platforms that are often in place tend to, as I said, plateau and simply not be able to process the vast streams of data that your organizations are collecting. But with AI, you're able to scale from, maybe tens of millions to hundreds and hundreds of millions of billions of records very, very quickly and very easily. And the more data you can process and work with, well, that means you have more accurate models and more effective marketing campaigns. So it's one of the big things that AI can provide, in that it has the ability to scale to your data and continuously, as you grow as an organization, adapt and leverage your new and improved data modeling capabilities. So first, I'm going to touch on a use case from the financial services industry. I think you'll find it relevant across many of your businesses in terms of the workflow and in terms of how we use the data. So hopefully it's something that is helpful for you. So we start with the data. The way we break it down is into two sort of parts. We bring the customer characteristics and the customer behavior. And I'll give you sort of a background on, I want to start with that to give you an idea of the data we're collecting. But in terms of the use case we're presenting here, we're offering a new credit card to customers that don't have it yet. Okay, so what we have is an established credit card. We've sent to many of our customers. Many of our customers are using it and enjoying it. And what we want to do is understand the customers that already have that card. What about them makes them good users of the card? What characteristics do they have, be they intrinsic to the customer or to their behavior, that are predictive of high card use? And as soon as we understand what makes a good credit card customer, we can offer that credit card to other customers of ours or prospects that don't yet have that card. And by extension, we can predict with a high degree of accuracy the ones that are likely to respond well and also use the card heavily. So going back to the data, we start with the customer characteristics and the customer behavior. So many of you already have this data. The customer behavior is often transactional history, and the characteristics are demographic data and the like. We feed these into an AI. In this case, I've shown for visual reasons a neural net, but any AI will do. And what the AI does is learn, based on the customers that we have that have the card, what makes a good credit card customer. So what we'll do is say, okay, this batch of customers has this credit card, and then this is how much they've spent on the credit card in the last year. We feed that to the AI as the input and output, and it learns over time what characteristics correspond to high spend. Now, for the prediction phase, we give it customers it hasn't seen yet, and the AI is able to predict which customer is likely to have high spend. So as you can see in the diagram, we've got the green customer, which is in the top 10th percentile. And we say for this particular campaign, we targeted them with an offer because they were likely to respond to it and spend a lot on the card and enjoy the card and be a good card customer for us. So that's one use case that we've seen with AI. And it's quite good because it has that ability to combine and infuse customer characteristics with customer behavior and understand the relationships between those two. Second use case, leveraging AI in hospitality. We had a similar situation. So we've got a hotel chain looking to predict which customers are likely to book a hotel room in the next month. If we know when and where, we can send them a well-timed, very relevant offer that they'll likely accept. And again, another perfect use case for AI, similar to the credit card. We can combine what we know about the customer, their characteristics and past behavior, feed it to an AI, and then this is for all our existing customers. So we know that these customers have booked a room which month. We have that history. So we train the AI to say, okay, for these customers, which ones booked a room the next month and which characteristics are predictive of that? Again, like with the credit card scenario, we don't actually know which combination of characteristics actually makes someone likely to predict the room in the next month. The AI understands that for us. And what we do during the prediction phase is now give it customers it hasn't seen before. And then it ranks them by how likely they are to book a room the next month. And the ones with the highest propensity, we send an offer, and then they'll likely accept that offer again, and it'll be well-timed and relevant for them. And so some of you may be asking, for these two use cases, your propensity modeling and your conventional analytics may already handle this, and it's well designed for it. So what's the difference here, and why is this a good use case for AI? The key differentiator is that the synthesis of thousands of possible relationships between the variables. Remember how I said for the credit card, we're combining things like customer age, customer spend, how often they purchase things on the credit card, how much each purchase is. And for the hotel, we can combine things like average stay, most recent stay, which months do they tend to stay in. All these variables are combined and infused in such a way that we're able to predict with much higher accuracy what a customer will do in the future. And why is that? Well, AI, based on how it's intrinsically structured, is able to explore the relationships not between tens of variables. Now you're looking at thousands of variables. It's able to synthesize thousands of possible relationships between all the data and input variables you're giving it, and thus give a much more nuanced response and prediction than conventional analytics is. So, for example, in this use case, do younger people tend to book vacations in the summer? Well, what if their income is over $50,000 or under $50,000? What if they live in the southern hemisphere? What if we've taken a look at their history and they prefer to take time off during Thanksgiving? Now, what happens when we feed this data into a conventional analytics model? Well, we tried, and it was just better than randomly picking a customer. Now, say we pass this exact same data to AI, as we did here as well, and specifically we used a deep neural net. Well, we hit 98 to almost 99% accuracy. And why is that? Well, AI looks at the relationship between the variables, the dozens of input variables we pass to it, and then sees how they all interact with each other and predicts an outcome. And suddenly you go from tens of possible relationships to tens of millions that you're modeling, and we can do this all in under a minute. And so that's hopefully a good example of how AI can provide additional value over conventional analytics. It's able to understand relationships much better than most conventional analytics can. So at this point, we've defined the use cases. We know the problem we're using AI to solve. But what does an AI stack actually look like? And fundamentally, it all starts with the data. It's at the form as a baseline and foundation of everything we do in AI. This data can be in the cloud, it can be in your data warehouse, or it can be gathered in real time. And it doesn't matter as long as we can pipe it into the AI stack, we can use it. And you don't have to worry about needing to remodel your databases or your data infrastructure. Often we can quite easily take what you have now and leverage it to extract insights without significant rework or any at all. Often we can just pipe it in directly. Then we add the infrastructure layer now that we have the data. And often, this will be a cloud provider, but it can also be one of, you have existing servers or virtualized servers. At the key level, it's just a matter of providing an infrastructure layer for the AI platform to run on. And again, for the AI platform, you've got a plethora of options from the likes of Google, Amazon, Apache, the list goes on and on, Microsoft. They all offer AI platforms tailored for your particular needs and use cases. And that's really the software tool set that will enable your AI. And it runs on the infrastructure. And then finally, when you create all these insights, how do you leverage them? Well, you integrate them with a marketing automation tool and take the insights that AI has given you and then use them to send offers and target your customers. And so hopefully this gives you an idea of what an AI stack really looks like from top to bottom. I'm sure many of you already have many of these in your existing MarTech stacks, AI is really just that layer between the infrastructure and the marketing automation that enables much more accurate insights. So if we combine that AI stack that we've now built and take a look at some of our use cases, I really want to highlight the power of AI and, again, point out how quickly you can iterate across different algorithms to pick the best for your use case and methodologies. So the second use case I presented in the hospitality industry, we ran on a significantly large data set 4 different AI algorithms. And this is standard practice, and you'll do it and pick which one is best for that particular use case. So I presented 4 here, and you can see how accurate they were in each case. And then if you take a look at the numbers, you'll see that the most accurate one is the deep neural net, DNN. It's at almost 99% accuracy. So you pick this one because, it's the best predictor of what your customers are going to do. In terms of how long it took us to get all these results, keep in mind we're running this on millions of records and 4 models. When we did all of that, it took us under 2 minutes to generate these accuracies across millions of customers. And we were able to predict and pick which one would be best. In that case, it was a deep neural net here. And then we used that as part of the workflow to generate scores for our customers. So just to give you an idea of the power and scale of AI, we're able to very quickly iterate across millions of customers and pick the best models for each individual use case. So let's take another step back for a second and look at the big picture again, sort of zoom back up to that 10,000-foot view. What results have we seen and how have our customers leveraged what we provided them? Well, the number I quoted before, 98.8% accuracy. That's the highest accuracy we've seen in terms of a predictive model, and obviously it's impressively good at predicting what a customer is going to do in the future. You take that and multiply it by net present value of certain behavior, and suddenly you're looking at a very high return on investment for that particular campaign. In terms of scale, our platforms are designed to scale to over 300 million customers. So we're very comfortable with massive data sets and our ability to scale your AI practice to that level, especially as your organization grows. And foundationally, the fundamental number, we've provided over $45 million in annual incremental value to our clients across our AI engagements. So hopefully these numbers and metrics highlight the value proposition and the benefits of AI and how easy it is to infuse into your existing marketing technology stack to provide tangible value very, very quickly to your organizations. So that's this for me, and I'll hand it over to Brad.
Great. Thanks, James. So we're going to open the floor to some questions. So if you have any questions, there's the chat function and the Q&A function inside the WebEx. So feel free to add your questions there, and we'll address them. And as well, if you have any questions that we don't get to, we can also be contacted by our emails. So we'll show that slide, and you can see how to contact us if you have any follow-ups, or if you want to book a meeting just to discuss in more detail. Okay. So we're just going to look through some of the questions here, and I'll call them out, and then James and myself will answer them. Okay. So the first question is about using AI in real time to qualify the best offer to push on inbound interaction with customers. So can we use AI in real time to qualify what is the, we'll say, next best action or offer?
Thanks for that question. It's a great question. Absolutely, we can. And that was the phase 3 of the holy grail sort of AI that I mentioned in the presentation, the ability to take your customer characteristics and in real time predict what action they're likely best respond to is one of the key use cases for AI. So certainly we can do that, and we've seen it as a very popular use case. Thanks for that question.
Okay, I have another one here. So this is about modeling your database. So do we need to remodel our database in order to leverage AI?
Thanks for that. Again, another great question. No, typically you can extract many insights and much value from your existing data, as long as we can connect to it, which is almost always the use case. We can take that data, we can pipe it into the AI, leverage it for insights. It's particularly helpful if your AI is already in a cloud platform, for example. It just makes it easier. But no, you don't have to remodel your data to leverage AI. As you grow and as you build a more comprehensive database, we can continue to leverage it more and more over time.
Great, and we have a couple more here. What are the prerequisites for AI, and how can we get ready to use it? What should we look for?
So the first step is always the data, but like I said, if your data is rare, we can take advantage of it. Beyond that, there are no other real prerequisites for AI. The software platforms are very easy to deploy anywhere. So fundamentally, if you've got a server, we can get you started with AI. Of course, if you're looking to scale, the first step is to be choosing an infrastructure layer to work with. That could be a cloud platform, or it could be a set of your existing servers. But that would be the first step in terms of growing your AI capabilities.
Here's a question that came in. The accuracy can be high if we overfit the training data. Notably, I believe that's why your neural net has the highest accuracy. How is the real accuracy in the real life environment? Good question.
Absolutely. So there's always that risk of overfitting. We did use a significant data set and best practices in terms of splitting our training and validation. I can't get into too much detail as to the efficacy in the full data set, given client confidentiality, but I can say it was quite close to the accuracy I described in terms of the data set I presented. Hopefully that answers your question.
We have one question here more about the project side of a machine learning or AI project. And what are some of the possible outcomes and KPIs that can be used to define what is a successful AI project?
Another great question. AI is fundamentally built on the idea of measuring its performance at every step of the process. So we've got, when you create the AI, you're constantly measuring everything from the accuracy of the AI to the return on investment for the AI. You're able to measure lift. You're able to measure really any number that you want to quantify. You can do with an AI because it's designed around the ability to assess how accurate its performance and capability is. So foundationally, you start with, an accuracy. Is it better than what exists now? Is it better than randomly picking? And then you take that and extend it by incorporating financial considerations to lift, to value and revenue generated.
Great question. And I know we're a little bit over, so I wanted to thank everyone for their time today. If we didn't get to your question, and it looks like there's quite a few, you can feel free to contact us. And we'll be happy to either answer your question by email, or we could even set up a call to discuss further some of the use cases. Again, I'd like to thank everyone for their time today. And for anyone who joined late, or if there was any colleagues of yours who were unable to make it, we will be sending out a recording by email. So look forward to that, and we'll contact you so you can watch a re-recording and decide from there. So again, thank you for your time, and have a great day.